Welcome back everyone, I'm on Let's Play Final Fantasy II on the Wii Virtual Console. Last episode, our party started down into the lunar subterrane. We got a few weapons and armor, encountered some new enemies, and here's another new enemy right here, the Blue Dragon. It has some pretty good drops. The Dragon Whip is basically the best whip. It has a little less power than the Flame Whip that we found last episode, but the Dragon Whip is effective against a dragon, so it does 4 times as much damage to a dragon. So it's really, really good. Same thing with the Dragon Spear. The Dragon Spear, it's not as strong as Jarvis' strongest spear, but the fact that it can do 4 times as much damage to a dragon enemy makes it really, really good, especially the end game, because you're going to be running into a lot of blue dragons, red dragons, and then even those dragon fossils, they're considered dragon enemies. So, and more monsters. And it's the other dragon that we wanted to meet, the Red Dragon. The Red Dragon is weak to ice. Surprisingly, the Blue Dragon is not weak to, you think maybe like lightning, because Kanazago was blue and he was weak to lightning. But no, Blue D has no weaknesses. But we can do a lot of damage to it with the Nuke spell. That's non-elemental. So Georgie can use that. Like I said, the Red Dragon though, hit it with Ice 3. That will deal max damage, especially if you're going with a wisdom increasing build like how I have with the rods. So, both of the dragons have something annoying. The blue dragon uses that frost, the blizzard on everyone. The red tree has this heat ray. Both of them deal more damage the more hit points the dragon has. So. You can save some MP, like I said, we don't have to worry about Nuke, we can just use the Ice 3, switch Nell to an Ice Claw, Heat Ray. These guys drop the Dragon Spear more often than the Blue Dragon, because the Blue Dragon is the Ultra Rare. For the Red Dragon, their Ultra Rare is the Crystal Ring, which is a really good ring that everybody can equip. If we found one of them, it would be nice maybe to go on to Jarvis. We can also give Jarvis back the Dragoon gloves, but I'm keeping the Dragoon gloves on Rupes because they give him that elemental protection. All this crystal gear that Rupes is going to be finding and equipping coming up, that's really just good for like status effects. Got a Protect Ring. There's going to be another one of those Protect Rings. We found 2 Protect Rings, and then we're going to find 2 ribbons. Those will be the headgears that we'll want to give to, and headgear and arm gear that we're going to be giving to Lily and Georgie. Basic spellcasters. Just going to check there. We've got 2 routes to go. North will take us to where we want to go. South will take us to another piece of equipment want to grab, and it'll be of course guarded by monsters. All the good gear here is. And it's another behemoth. So once again we'll just have we'll use the strategy of just imaging our characters up. Mainly just focusing on having Jarvis, Rupes, and Nell attack. So, Jarvis can do some pretty good damage there. You don't have to worry about really blinking him because he's going to be up in the air every time he's jumping. He's off the screen. Obviously, he won't take hits when he's off the screen. So, I just want to, like I said, blink. Rupes and Nell. Nell can blink herself with the image spell. And if you've got extra time, then you can start using blinks on Lily and Georgie. These behemoths, they're the same, but these ones seem to hit a little bit harder than those we had in Bahamut's Cave. Even though they're the same enemy, Georgie was taking a little less damage than the ones in the Bahamut's Cave. But we got the crystal armor that protects against, I believe, Berserk. Good upgrade. Yeah, just how Jarvis can get all Dragoon equipment, Rupes can get all crystal equipment. His ultimate sword is the Crystal Sword. That's guarded by an that is kind of a palette swap of Bahamut, the Wyvern. We will not experience him for a while. The first time I went through the game, I didn't even get the crystal sword. My sword that I was using for the end game was the defense sword, because I didn't know about the Excalibur sword, and I didn't know about the crystal sword. Just because the way to get to the crystal sword is there's like an invisible bridge, and kind of just obvious now that I look at it that the bridge was there. But back at the time when I first was playing the game, it didn't occur to me to look there. So, kind of reminds me of Zelda in a little bit. Like, I'll bet you I get these Zelda classics, which are like homemade Zelda games, and really pays to pay good attention to the environment, because that's where they usually hide like secrets, like hard container pieces. You might see an oddly colored bush or a weird tile on the floor that, if you're not really paying attention, you can easily miss. So these dragons are pretty good shots for targets. I mean, for the psych spell. So if Georgie starts running low on her magic points, you can use a psych spell to steal a whole bunch off of the dragons. The dragons are kind of magical beasts, so they have a lot of MP to steal. Yeah, 380 right there. So there will be a save point coming up soon. I'm gonna make a beeline to that once we get closer to it. Got the crystal gauntlets, but we're not gonna equip them because we have Rupes. It's too bad that Jarvis can't equip any of the crystal gear. That would be nice. We could have like switched between him and Dragoon and some crystal gear, just like how Rupes is using one of the crystal. He's using one of the Dragoon things, gear. So here's one of the best robes for Lily. It's good because it increases her will, which makes her a better white magician. There's going to be another robe we're going to be getting soon, the heroine robe, which is good for using like a bow build, because that the white robe there, it increases her will, which determines how effective her white magic is. It also helps determine your magic defensive multiplier. But the heroine robe, while it will increase all the stats that make her a better bow user, will decrease her magical based stats. So it'll make her a little bit of a worse caster. So you gotta choose, like, do you want her to be like an archer, or do you want her to be a pure white mage? So I guess the lower your levels, you probably want her to be more of a white wizard to do the healing. But once you start getting, to a high enough level where you have so much hit points and your stats are kind of maxed out that you have a bunch of magic and defensive multipliers, it might be better to just have her be an archer. We've got the crystal helmet now. Oops, I almost got all the crystal gear other than the sword. They say we could go with the arm gear there, but we want that elemental protection that the Dragoon gear gives. So, they said it'd be nice if eventually you found the Dragoon spear, but like I said, it's kind of a rare drop. So, this guy's ultra rare drop is the Protectorane. We already got one of them. We're gonna get another one, but if you like more, you can always try to farm them from these guys here. The Fatal Eye. They basically, all they do is they cast the countdown spell on your character, and basically once the countdown gets down to 0, your character will automatically die. But the good thing is, sometimes the Fatal Eye will cast the countdown spell on somebody who already has a countdown, and if it does that, the countdown will restart. So we're hoping that it casts count again on Georgie, but it didn't. I think later on it will cast, we'll see it cast the count spell. Yeah, so it cast it on Rupes again here, And now Rupes went from 2 seconds left, I believe, down out to 10. So yeah, sometimes the Fatal Eye can be dumb and choose a bad target. And it just recounted Nell. Palette swap of this Fatal Eye is going to be a boss that we're going to encounter in a little bit. That guards Jarvis' strongest spear. And he's pretty evil because he casts Countdown on everybody at the same time. So there's 2 ways to go. Well, I guess there's 3 ways to go about defeating him. But I'll point them out when we get to him. This room that I'm about to enter here, this is the only room in the game where we can find those the pink puffs, the pink flan monsters that drop the pink tail that we can use to get the added armor from the tail collector. But they're a 1 in 64 chance, they're a rare chance, so it's really hard to get that. I'll show a way to farm them later on, like in the bonus episode. But we will eventually, we'll get into a fight with them in here, so sometime here. But I'm not going to sit around and farm all those battles in there right now because, like I said, I wanted to get to that B point, to the save point. So I'm actually going to skip that treasure chest over there to the left, because that's where that invisible bridge is, to get to the crystal sword. So we're going to be coming back this way anyway, to get the crystal sword, and then we'll get the treasure chest there. But we'll stop and grab this treasure chest here, because this is the treasure chest that has the heroine robe in it. And that's the robe that I said is good if you want to have Lily be like an attacker, because it'll boost her her stamina, her attack, and her agility. Make sure those are all stats that modify how much damage she does with a physical attack. And we're going to want her to be able to do as much damage as possible coming up in the fight that we're going to have with that Fatal Eye type monster, the Fatal Eye boss monster. Like I said, that's another one of those time bosses, and it's going to cast the Doom spell on everybody. So everybody's going to have a 10-thing countdown. The way that you could potentially avoid it, one of the ways is to just have everybody go full-out offense and hope that you can defeat it before the countdown hits 0 for all your party, because everybody will be wiped out all at the same time. And that's the way that I'm going to go with here. But I'll point out the other 2 ways once we actually fight it. But yeah, the heroine robe, like I said, you can also give it to Georgie if you want her to be like a melee attacking character. And she could be good with melee if she gets, like, say, that dragon whip. I guess you can put it on her now if you want to give her the flame whip, but the flame whip doesn't have any, doesn't exploit any monster types, so. But it does go good, like I said, with the dragon whip. As you can see, she takes a massive 20, loses 20 points to her wisdom. So that'll make her black magic spells not all that good. So like I said, that's why we're going to just keep with the sorcerer's gear. Like I said, we want to increase Lily's damage with her bow and arrow for this upcoming fight. So that's why we're going to give her the heroine robe now. Then she'll switch back to the white robe after it. But here's that save point. We finally get a good save point. We'll heal up. It's really good because this save point is kind of basically the last save point in the game, because not too far beyond this is the path to the lunar core, where the background changes, and you're basically you're only fighting like mini boss monsters. You fight like red dragons, behemoths, these evil masks, but really tough enemies. And speaking of tough enemies, we got 2 rooms here that guard good equipment, that have good equipment, but are guarded by tough monsters. So woe to those who seek to gain the lands of white. And here is the plague monster. So I'm going to try to beat it by just doing as much damage as possible as I can. Hopefully take up all its hit points before we all die here from the countdown. So we're going to be throwing stuff with Nell, jumping with Jarvis. Georgie will be casting the nuke spell rather than Bahamut, because the nuke spell comes out a little bit quicker. And like I said, we want to get damage done as quick as possible. So one thing, you can go in here with a character basically near death, and then have them defeat themselves, or dead when they enter this battle. That way when the plague uses the countdown, they won't be affected by the countdown. Then you can revive them, and then they can revive the party again once everybody else, falls from the countdown. Sometimes the plague casts that fast spell, and the fast spell means that the countdown goes quicker. So, but it was so close to 0 there with Nell. But if it casts it really early, what would end up happening is Nell would end up, her countdown would be going faster than everybody else's, and so she would die before the other 4 party members. So you just revive her, and then when the other 4 party members die from the countdown spell, Nell will be up and can revive the other party members. But that's like hoping that the plague casts the fast spell real quick, like immediately after casting that doom countdown on everybody. But we were lucky there. We managed to finish it off just at the nick of time, because everybody's time was at 0. One more turn and we would all been toast. But that's why it's good we had the save point here to save it, so that if things did go wrong, we could just restart one room away. And we'll be starting next time 2 rooms away from the room over to the right, where we can get the ribbon, the ultimate headgear for Georgie and Lily. So come back then, and I'll see you in the next episode. Have a good day. Bye.